it's Katie, and welcome back to my booktube channel. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today we are doing the Disney book tag, and this was actually something that was created, I think, over 5 years ago when The Isle of the Lost by Melissa de la Cruz was coming out, and this book is based on Disney's Descendants, if you've ever seen that movie. But yes, so this is a very old book tag, but I have a whole list of older videos that I've always wanted to do myself, so I'm slowly getting through those, and like I said, this is one of them, so bear with me. But basically, there is a list of Disney movies and prompts that go with them, and I will be telling you guys about some of the books on my shelves that fit these prompts, and yeah, I just think these kinds of videos are really fun, so let's just jump into it. Up first, we have The Little Mermaid, so a character who is out of their element or a fish out of water. And this makes me think of Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Our main character, Mare, lives in a world where everybody is divided by the color of their blood. It's either red or silver. Those with red blood are kind of the lowly people in society. They kind of do all the manual labor and they don't really have a lot of wealth or anything to their name. And then those with silver blood are the elite in society and they have some magical powers, superpowers, that kind of thing. And Mare is somebody with red blood. Her family is kind of low in society and she has to try to steal to help her family survive. And she ends up in the castle, I think. I don't know, it's been a while since I read this, but I think she ends up in the castle and she finds out that she has one of these powers, and she finds out in front of everybody. So the king and the queen cannot hide that somebody with red blood also has powers. And so they end up making her pretend like she is a long-lost princess and making her betrothed to one of their sons. And so she's kind of thrust into this world that she doesn't really know anything about, and she is definitely a fish out of water. The next one is Cinderella, a character who goes through a huge transformation. And for this, I thought of The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. And our main character, Nemesis, is a diabolic, which is a creature created for one sole purpose, and that is to protect the person they are created for. And diabolics have no humanity and don't feel any human emotions. And Nemesis, the person that she was created to protect, is Sidonia. And one day, Sidonia is basically summoned to the imperial court as a hostage. So Nemesis goes in her place and pretends to be her, and so she has to fake all of these human emotions. And as time goes on, those things that she's faking become less and less fake. So obviously she goes through a huge transformation once she starts to have a little bit of humanity and starts to feel human emotions. Next, we have Snow White, a book with an eclectic cast of characters. And I thought of the entire Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. This is the third book, but it was the closest one to me, so that's why I grabbed this one. But this definitely has a very eclectic cast of characters. We have our three main characters, Tessa, Will, and Jem. Jem is super sweet and proper and just a sweetheart. I know I already said sweet, but that's like the main way I can describe him. He is just such a gentleman in every way possible. And on the other hand, you have Will, who is very sassy and sarcastic and snarky, but he's also fiercely protective, and once you get past his like prickly outer layer, he's also a very good guy. And then Tessa, I don't even really know how to describe her. She's very intelligent and badass in her own way. And then we have Charlotte and Henry, who are kind of like the parents of the Institute. Charlotte is very motherly, and she's the leader of the Institute and super badass. And Henry is kind of quirky, but he also really loves everyone, and he's very weird and entertaining. And then you have so many other people in the Institute, so it definitely has a very eclectic cast of characters. The next prompt is Sleeping Beauty, so a book that put you to sleep. And I honestly feel kind of bad saying this, but I'm going to go with The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And I know so many people love this book, and I really, really wanted to love it, but it is just so long and not a lot happens in it. I'm somebody that loves a lot of action or a lot of romance between characters. Like, I need it to be a lot of dialogue and all of that kind of stuff. And the longer descriptive sections of books, I usually skim through. And this book is mostly description and there's history involved. And it just felt very wordy. And that's not usually my favorite writing style. So it definitely was a struggle for me to get through this one. Up next, we have Beauty and the Beast. So a beast of a book that you were intimidated by, but you ended up finding the story to be very beautiful. And I'm going to have to say A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This book is so thick. It's over 600 pages, and that's the biggest book that I've read in years. So I was very intimidated by it, but I am obsessed. There were so many moments that I really loved and were very heartwarming. Just so many emotions throughout this book. I can't even describe, but I have like a billion tabs. So you could tell that I really ended up enjoying it, even though I was very scared to pick this one up. Up next, we have Aladdin. So a character that gets their wish granted for better or for worse. And I thought of Amelia from Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. And it's not technically a wish because she ends up casting this spell. Well, before I get into that, this book is about twin witches who their whole family are hiding among humans and trying to not let anybody find out that they're witches. And Amelia's twin sister ends up not showing up for dinner one night, and she goes out to search for her and finds her mutilated body, and this forces her to go on this path for vengeance and to figure out what happened and who murdered her sister. And so along this path, she ends up casting this spell to summon one of the princes of hell, or to summon a demon to help her. And she thinks that this demon will be within her control until she gets what she needs, and then she'll get rid of the demon. But she ends up summoning Prince Wrath, and he tells her that the spell only really lasts for a couple days, and once the spell is over, he will kill her, and it's not going to go the way she thinks it's going to go. And so obviously, even though she thought she got what she wanted when she casted the spell, obviously it didn't go as planned. So I think that fits this prompt. The next one is Mulan, a character who pretends to be someone or something they're not. And that reminded me of Laya from An Ember in the Ashes by Sabat Tahir. This book takes place in a world where everybody lives under the martial empire, where defiance is met with death. And so Laya and her family never challenge the empire until one day her brother is arrested for treason, and she is forced to go to the rebels and ask for their help. And they make a deal that in exchange for help rescuing her brother, she will sneak into the empire's largest military academy to spy for them. And so she pretends to be a servant slash maid in this military academy. So obviously she is pretending to be someone that she's not. Our next one is Toy Story, a book with characters you wish would come to life. And I definitely have to say characters from the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. I've only read the first two books, but I'm absolutely obsessed with all of the characters that we meet. They're so fun, and I would love to just meet all of them, especially Feyre and Reese and that whole group of people we meet in A Court of Mist and Fury, because they have great banter, they're super fun and badass, and I just think it'd be really cool to see them all in action, and also be really fun to see people with wings. I just feel like that'd be really crazy to see and to like watch people fly. So I would probably have to say them because this series is my newest obsession. And then our last prompt is for Disney's Descendants, which is a villain or a morally ambiguous character that is your favorite. And I definitely have to say Wrath from Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I know I already talked about this book in this video already, but this is my favorite book that I've read so far this year and one of my favorites of all time. And I loved Wrath in this. It was just so cool to see how badass he was, and he just commands the room, and I don't know, he's one of my favorite book boyfriends, and definitely a true villainous character that I couldn't help but be completely enamored by. So I would have to say him. And if you haven't read this book already, please do. I know there's so much hype surrounding it, but you definitely should give it a chance because it's worth all of the hype. All right, so that is the end of the Disney book tag. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching me talk about some of my favorite books. Comment below what your favorite Disney movie is or what you guys would have put for some of these prompts. I'd love to talk to you guys in the comments. And please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.